Welcome to Royal Coin Value, your trusted destination for learning about rare coins, US currency, and the hidden treasures that could be sitting right inside your change jar. If you enjoy discovering the history and value behind coins, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment below. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating issue that many collectors underestimate, but which actually has surprising value in certain cases. This is the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar looks almost identical to any other half-dollar from the 1970s. But once we break it down, you'll see why this year has some unique qualities that collectors and coin roll hunters need to know about. So, let's begin with the background. The Kennedy half-dollar series was introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy following his assassination in November 1963. The public response was overwhelming, and the coin became both a memorial and a symbol of American history. By the 1970s, however, the role of the half-dollar in daily commerce had sharply declined. Very few people used 50-cent pieces in everyday transactions, and the majority of Kennedy halves ended up sitting in banks, bags, and rolls. Still, the mint continued to strike them each year, and the 1973 issue is one that has captured attention for a number of reasons. The 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia produced around 64.9 million coins with no mint mark. Denver struck about 83.2 million coins with the small d mint mark. And the San Francisco mint produced proof coins, with a mintage of just over 2.7 million pieces. This is an important point. Unlike some years where coins were also included in mint sets, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was struck only for circulation and for proof sets. That makes it slightly scarcer than surrounding years when you try to find higher-grade pieces. Now let's talk about the design. The obverse features Gilroy Roberts' portrait of John F. Kennedy facing left, with the words Liberty around the rim, In God We Trust beneath his chin, and the date 1973 at the bottom. The reverse shows Frank Gasparo's rendering of the presidential seal, with the heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by stars and the words United States of America and half-dollar. Like all clad Kennedy halves from 1971 onward, the 1973 half-dollar was made of copper-nickel clad composition, weighing 11.34 grams with a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. Even though the coin has a silver-colored look, there is no silver content in circulation strikes for this year. However, some special silver proofs were produced in later years, which adds to confusion for new collectors. Where the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar gets really interesting is in its varieties and errors. One of the most talked-about varieties is the no FG reverse. As with other years, the designer's initials FG for Frank Gasparo are supposed to appear just to the right of the eagle's tail feathers. On some 1973 half-dollars, due to overpolished dies or striking anomalies, these initials are missing or extremely weak. Collectors label these as the no FG variety, and they can fetch strong premiums, especially in higher mint state condition. Another collectible aspect of the 1973 half-dollar is its doubled die varieties. While not as dramatic as the famous doubled dies of the Lincoln cent or other coins, some examples of 1973 halves show doubling on the motto In God We Trust, on the lettering of Liberty, or even on the reverse lettering. These doubled dies are subtle and often require magnification to see clearly, but when attributed and graded, they are highly sought after. Such coins might sell for $50 to several $100s depending on grade and visibility of doubling. Error coins from 1973 are also quite popular. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, struck through grease errors, and clipped planchets exist for this issue. A dramatic off-center strike showing a large portion of blank planchette with clear date can sell for hundreds of dollars. Similarly, any major striking error on a 1973 half-dollar has collector interest because the large size of the coin makes such errors visually striking. Now let's turn to values. In circulated grades, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is generally worth only face value, 50 cents. That's because so many were minted and most survive in decent shape. However, the story changes when you look at higher mint state grades. An MS-65 graded by PCGS or NGC might bring $15 to $25, while MS-66 examples sell for $60 to $100. Superb gem MS-67 coins are much rarer, and prices can easily reach $500 to $1,000. In fact, Some MS-67 Plus coins have crossed the auction block for well over $2,000. Proof coins from San Francisco are also worth examining. A standard proof in PR65 or PR66 may only be worth a few dollars, but a PR69 Deep Cameo or PR70 Deep Cameo can fetch hundreds. For example, a 1973 S-Proof 70 Deep Cameo has sold for $1,000 or more at auction. Auction records confirm this trend. One remarkable example is a 1973D Kennedy half-dollar graded MS-67 by PCGS, which sold for nearly $2,500. Another example, a 1973 S-Proof 70 Deep Cameo, brought over $1,200. And let's not forget the no-FG varieties. A 1973D no-FG in MS-65 has sold for $700, while higher grades can go even further. These numbers show just how much collectors are willing to pay when rarity and condition align. Collectability of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is enhanced by the fact that it was not included in standard mint sets that year. That means fewer high-grade examples were preserved at the time of issue, making surviving mint state coins scarcer. Collectors building registry sets, those who compete to have the highest graded complete collections, will pay strong premiums to secure the best 1973 halves. This has driven prices steadily upward in the last 2 decades. Even casual collectors appreciate the 1973 issue because it represents a slightly tougher date within the clad Kennedy series. From an investment perspective, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is not likely to make you rich overnight, but it represents a solid long-term collectible. The key takeaway is that condition and variety matter. A worn 1973 coin might only be 50 cents, but an MS-67 gem or a proof in perfect deep cameo can be worth hundreds or thousands. Add in the possibility of finding a no-FG variety, and you can see why collectors continue to search bank rolls, coin shows, and online auctions for these hidden gems. In conclusion, the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar is much more than just another 50-cent piece. It reflects the history of the 1970s, the decline of the half-dollar in circulation, and the continuing popularity of Kennedy's image on American coinage. With its large mintages but limited high-grade survivors, its intriguing errors and varieties. If you enjoyed this part of the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to Royal Coin Value, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you own a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, or have you ever come across a valuable era coin? Let us know. And don't go anywhere, because up next we'll be talking about the 1977 Kennedy half-dollar, and you'll be amazed at the surprises it holds. Stay tuned.